Peace, 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 black family. This is Street Watching TV. I'm back at you with another exclusive, prolific video for tonight. If this your first time coming into my channel, make sure you mash up the likes, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell at the bottom so you always be in the crosshairs of these videos when I drop them. Fam, you always know I don't waste no time going in on what I'm about to speak on. It's been 63 years since the late Dr. Martin Luther King was assassinated. I waited a few days after his so-called holiday or birthday to drop this video because I don't want no one to think that I'm discrediting Dr. Martin Luther King and his worth and cause to the planet, because he did raise awareness at the late stage of his life. He's seen the truth that this wicked world in which he tried to say that he wanted us to hold hands with and march with and let these people come among us. He's seen the truth. He went to the mountaintop and he's seen that he had integrated his people into a hell house. So we always want to talk about the great Nobel Prize winning Martin Luther King when he was going around speaking non-violent. And when his march was controlled by the powers that be, we call it the Great March. But that march was orchestrated and controlled by the powers to be. If you got to understand, King went to Morehouse. He was Sigma Pi Phi. That means that he was chosen to be opposing anything in the 60s from the grassroots of broke people organizing against the powers that be that oppress our people. So this was the reason why King was invented, to oppose Malcolm X, the Nation of Islam, Black Panther Party, any grassroots SNCC, anything that was radical, that was fighting against the oppressors of this country. So with that being said, folks, we can go into videos and go deep into why I say what I say, that King was hired by the ruling class to oppose all grassroots organizations. Goes all the way back to Marcus Garvey, Henry Minton, and W.E. Du Bois. These type of people was invented to go against Marcus Garvey, which is called the boule. And you will see this through history, time and time and time and again. You see it with the Me Too movement. Me Too movement was backed by this government to oppose any grassroots black militia organizations. You got to understand what world you're living in and who you're dealing with when you're dealing with the Cro-Magnon man or the Ice Man. When you're dealing with the Neanderthal, you got to be almost thinking like he thinks to even keep up with him, because he thinks very ruthless. So you have to be ruthless too in your thinking when you're thinking that this individual or these people are people that's going to give us some justice and freedom and equality. That's not going to happen. You're going to have to take your own justice and freedom and equality. You feel me? They're not going to give you nothing. You know, you can withhold your vote. Your vote could be a contract. But we always rush to go vote for these people. They don't care nothing about us. They even killed King at the end. Even King's family believed that James Earl Ray was set up. He was an innocent man. Don't y'all know Dr. Martin Luther King survived this shot in '68 when he got shot? in Memphis, Tennessee, by racists, a real racist that owned a coffee shop right across from where he stayed at. See, we'll get off into William Peppers. I need y'all to check out William Peppers. He got a book out called Plot to Kill King. William Peppers was the lawyer for the King family. The King family also went to the penitentiary in which James Earl Ray was housed, was held, and they had an interview with him. They believe that the government of America, they know that the government of America, they know that the government of America killed Dr. Martin Luther King. The whole King family knows that. Even Coretta Scott King, until her dying day, knew this. She went to court in 1999. And conspirators, mafia, Memphis police, Memphis police, and government officials were involved with the killing of Martin Luther King, and he did not die from that gunshot wound on the balcony. We're going to get off into all that, how they smothered Dr. Martin Luther King when he got to the hospital. He survived his shots. So when I play this interview from William Peppers, you will understand where I'm coming from. You know, because we don't have to be capping. When I say King was boule in the beginning, a sellout, he was made to oppose Malcolm X. He was real critical of the Nation of Islam. But what got Malcolm X killed was the Pan-African movement. And what got Martin Luther King killed was stepping on the toes of the American government's very interest in the Vietnam War, opium. Opium was big product back then. The same thing, they want to stop the doctors from writing up scripts for particular medication. Back in the 60s, opium was big money, and the government had a reason for being in that country. And King opposed the war. King had a lot of power. He had a lot of people protesting about the war. This is what got King in trouble. Then he also sat down with the most honorable Elijah Muhammad in a secret meeting. And this is the mountaintop speech, I believe, where after he sat with Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he seen the truth. I have integrated my people into a hell house. We don't talk about that King, the radical part of King. King started getting radical in the end, and they took King out. King flipped on the boule, and when you flip on the boule, they make you pay. They come to take your life. Not only did they take King's life, they took his brother's life. A year after King was killed, his brother was killed in 1969. Then subsequently, a guy from Dayton, Ohio, drives from Dayton to a particular part in the South and killed King's mother. Was targeted for King's father. This guy proclaimed to be a Hebrew Israelite, and he believed that Christianity, being propagated from black preachers, was a type of religion to hold black people back. It was wicked. I agree that Christianity is insanity. It hold black people back. But to go out and kill another person because they believe in that nonsense is asinine. So they believe dude was a government agent also. We're going to get off into all that. This Street Watching TV, we come to expose this wicked history that these people hold from us. You know, they didn't tell us that King survived his shot on the balcony. They didn't tell us that. They didn't tell us that guy from Dayton, Ohio, drove all the way from Dayton to go kill King's mom and dad. They didn't tell us that. You feel what I'm saying? There's a lot of things they withhold. They didn't tell us the mafia and the Memphis police was involved with the killing of King. They kept that away from us. Top secret. But the Freedom of Information Act, you could get this type of information. But a lot of y'all don't do no research. Y'all do no studying, but y'all quick to call somebody a conspiracy theorist. But the truth is out there. All you got to do is go do your research. You feel what I'm saying? On the real, man, I told y'all don't be capping. I be bringing that hot shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, just like I said, you know, King was boule. You know, anybody go through these colleges and you want to be part of that in crowd, you know, you want to be part of something, especially if you black, you feel left out. So you join these sororities and become, you know, Alpha, you know, Sigma Pi Phi, you know, Sigma Phi Pi Phi, you know. But sometimes you chosen by the elite. Because this ain't nothing but a breeding ground for the Masonic, you know, fraternity. You know, that's just how it is in this world. You got to be part of this secret society to be put in position. It's kind of scary when you think about it, but that's just the way it is. A lot of people say that's conspiracy theories, but you do your research and you'll be surprised. Civil rights leader Dr. Martin Luther King is undoubtedly one of the most renowned alphas of all time. Many know that King was an alpha, but few seen pictures of what he looked like as a young member of the fraternity. Member of this fraternity. See, I must tell the truth. You know, a lot of people, they tell history about Dr. Martin Luther King, how great he was with the non-violent approach. But we have to tell why he was murdered and the truth about that his march was controlled by the ruling class. He was chosen to be a poser of Malcolm X. So you cross the boule or cross these secret societies and they take you out. I know this conspiracy theorist, to the listener, of this typical knowledge that I'm propagating tonight, but just open up your eyes and look at the world for what it is. When you start studying these black people that are in power, you find out they've been to college and they've been part of these fraternities. You've seen the hazings on the news, right? Hazings from different colleges, people losing their life. These are rituals. They call them hazings. Pay attention to what's going on. Pay attention to what's going on. We're going to get off into some real live, deep, untold, unsolved mysteries tonight. You feel me? This Street Watching TV, man. Mash up the lights, man. Make sure y'all share this video, man. You feel me? You'll subscribe to the channel. Back to the Dr. Martin Luther King conspiracy, assassination, a fascination with the man, the greatest orator of our times. I give King that. In the end, King became very radical and questionable of the United States actions in Vietnam and dealing with black people. King got up under the hairs of J. Edgar Hoover, the head of the FBI. So when you dealing with J. Edgar Hoover, you become a victim of his mass assault to kill you. Politically, socially, economically, any way that he can cripple you. Once you get up under the radar of J. Edgar Hoover, you're done. Many of our civil rights leaders and radical leaders and Black Panther leaders and Pan-Africanists have been killed by J. Edgar Hoover. Martin Luther King tread deadly waters when he started rubbing shoulders with the NOI, the Nation of Islam. Yeah, in 1958, Dr. Martin Luther King wrote a letter to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad about setting up a meeting between the two. It didn't happen until about October 24th, 1966. Dr. Martin Luther King and Coretta Scott King, his wife, met the Honorable Elijah Muhammad at his house in Chicago, his mansion. And on March 25th, 1964, King and Malcolm X met each other. It was unplanned though. They was up on Capitol Hill watching a Senate hearing about legislation to end segregation in public places and racial discrimination and employment. The bill was proposed by the late John F. Kennedy, who was assassinated November 22nd, 1963. The bill subsequently passed by President Lyndon B. Johnson. Anyhow, when Elijah Muhammad met with Martin Luther King, that became King's violation of the boule. You feel what I'm saying? So King became Watch, a very man that was living under surveillance, and he was discredited by J. Edgar Hoover, who subsequently had the brother killed. See, a lot of people don't do no research. A lot of things be happening right up under our nose and we don't pay attention, especially people from the streets. We're moving like we moving so fast, man. We're not paying attention to what's going on. So when we are speaking on a particular subject, when it's dealing with plots and conspiracy, and when we try to add our 2 cents, we don't have enough knowledge and we look like fools. So this is why I don't debate about nothing unless I have a particular real vast research on that particular subject that we're speaking on. The King family in 99. Listen, the King family versus Lloyd Jowers and other unknown conspirators in court. Jowers admitted his involvement in the killing. Check this out. In 1993, Lloyd Jowers appeared on ABC News, primetime live, y'all. He claimed that he was paid $100,000 by the alleged Memphis mobster named Liberto to to help organize the assassination of Martin Luther King. In 1968, Jowers owned a Memphis coffee shop on the first floor of a rooming house from which King was allegedly shot by James Earl Ray. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah, fam, what we gonna do, we're gonna get off into this audio. This the lawyer for the King's family, the late William Peppers. He was author of the book called The Plot to Kill King. You need to get this, by William Peppers. This is an interview that I'm about to use, audio that I want you to pay attention to and listen to how they murdered King. Like I say, a lot of people believe King died from a gunshot wound. He survived his gunshot wound. He was smothered by a pillow at the hospital. See, these are the things that the government kept away from you. You don't do no studying. This is a interview held by Lee Camp, and I'm gonna use this audio as fair use at the disclaimer. Check it out, fam.
Now, did the shot actually kill him? And if not, how did he die?
The shot did not kill him. We all believed that Martin King was killed by that shot from his trouser. He was still alive when he was taken to the hospital. And I think the emergency staff were trying to do their best to keep him alive. And he was still breathing and alive. When the head of neurosurgery of the hospital, Dr. Breen Bland, came in to the emergency room with two other men in suits. And he said to the people in the emergency room, "Stop working on that nigger and let him die." And then he said, after a pause, "Now get out of here, all of you. Leave this room. Get out." And he emptied the room. And as he was emptying the room, a surgical nurse was the last one out. And she heard them do this, like picking up water in their mouths. And that caught her attention, and she turned and she saw them spit on the body of Dr. King, the three men. Then she saw Bland, Dr. Bland, take a pillow and put it over his face and suffocate him. And that's how Martin King was killed. Now you can say, oh, you only had one witness. You had this black surgical nurse. She went home the next morning, gathered her family around her in their home, and said to them, I don't know why they had to kill him. And she repeated this story. And it was one of her sons who, under oath and under video deposition, told us all this story about how it happened, how she saw it happen. And everyone in the room with that video deposition believed him. He was blind, and he was a diabetic victim. He had no reason to lie. He was very moving with the way he spoke, and he told us the truth. Now, one could say, well, you still only had one witness. You know, good journalists, for something as horrific as this, need two witnesses to confirm it. Well, we had another witness. Again, the son of the head of the Dixie Mafia leader told us that his father died, by the way, and the elder brother took over the assassination responsibility. So the elder brother and he were sitting in a meeting with Dr. Bland. Dr. Bland was their family doctor. They were sitting in a meeting with Dr. Bland, and Bland said to the son, Russell Jr., if the bullet doesn't kill him, make sure they take him to St. Joseph's Hospital, and we'll make sure that he doesn't leave there. Now, the son heard this at the time. The boy heard this, and he was not a young kid. He was about 15, 16 at that time, and he heard that. And this was a 2-day, multi-hour deposition that I did of him that brought out a lot of these facts that we otherwise never would have known. And he today is in a hospice, I believe, dying of cancer. But he wanted to get this truth out off his chest and out of his mind, the involvement of his family in this case.
You got to believe the 1974 assassination of Martin Luther King's mother was done by the ruling class, but they was looking to kill his father. But the person that drove from Dayton, Ohio, all the way to Atlanta, the guy was named Chestnut. I want Marcus Wayne Chestnut, something to that matter. You can look it up. He drove all the way from Dayton to a suburbs outside of Atlanta and shot Alberta King. Like I said before, fam, things ain't always what you think it is in history. When you have your enemy telling you his story about a particular history, you got to do your own research, people. And you know, they exonerated the Nation of Islam from having anything to do with the murder of Malcolm X, but no one has apologized to the Nation of Islam. The murder of Malcolm X, like I always said before, was orchestrated by the government of the United States of America. But this media that you listen to, that you train to listen to, you people who love mainstream media, still program you to believe history as they tell it to you, and you believe it because it comes from the mainstream. The mainstream never would tell you that Dr. Martin Luther King was smothered at a St. Joseph Hospital in Memphis, racist Tennessee. You feel what I'm saying? Street watching TV, mash up the lights. Share the video, y'all. Street watching TV.